Good morning and welcome to the NuSpecian Live. I'm Jillian.
And Aston, good morning, morning, morning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we would love you to start saying good morning or hello or anything over in the chat just so we
You
know.
don't, you don't have to. You don't have to say good morning if you don't feel like
Say
it.
good night if you're somewhere else in the world. um,
As long as you're
but
here, that's all that matters. Thank you for
yeah,
being here with us.
we could see you're here. It's just nice to chat with you because that's the whole point, right? This show is about
Um,
your agenda. What can you hear me?
are they able to chat?
They should be.
Okay.
If you're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you can chat. You won't see each other's chats. So if you see us talking about something that you don't see in your chat, it's because it's on another platform. But we're keeping an eye
hmm
on Instagram, and then I've got Facebook and YouTube right here in front of me. So
hmm
good morning, Dorit. Thank you. So those of you who are
Morning,
new,
morning, Dorrit. Mhm.
oh, by the way, I'm in Elmont today. If you haven't noticed, I'm covering for Ashley. She took the day off. But
And
first
I'm
things
in
first.
Pauling today.
Not the whole day though, right?
No, but we do have a Paulin store, so that's what you're seeing behind me. So we do have a location in Paulin, and we have a storefront in Paulin. Not a storefront, an office storefront. So
Hmm.
just so you all know, if you want to buy new species, you can also come to Paulin to get new species, not just our HQ. We do have an outlet here as well. So feel free to
And
take a ride up to Poland. It's beautiful, and now the spring is coming, it's getting even more so beautiful.
well, for the record, this is not a replay. The snow you see behind you is real. It is April
Mm.
12th, and that is snow. Right, Aston? Hey.
Yes, I do. I do have to know what you're seeing behind me is not a picture. It's a real picture. It's a real image. We have snow on the ground, and we're just an hour north of the Bronx or so, and we're getting snow up here. So
Hmm.
we're surprised ourselves, but
Yeah.
the weather is still pretty good. It's not chilly, damp, cold outside, so it's still pretty good.
All right. I'll do the intro. I just want to plug for those of you watching. I actually have two testimonials of my own to share with all of you today
Mhm.
that came up this week. So I'm looking forward to telling you about that. In
Mhm.
the meantime, for those of you who are new, New Species is a natural health company. Our mission is to help our clients live better and longer. Acid invented our nutritional formulas a long time ago. We manufacture them here in the United States, and all of our formulas are designed to help your body be as resilient as possible against the toughest of health challenges. And that journey toward rebuilding your health or maintaining your health is different for each of us. And that's why we host this Q&A every Saturday at 10 a.m. to answer your questions that will help you continue along your own unique health journey. And of course, when we
Mhm.
don't know the answer, we will tell you that. We don't know everything, but whatever knowledge and experience we can share with you to help you, we will. So you feel
Yep.
free to start putting any questions or concerns you have in the chat. It could be about your health. It could be about healthcare in general, about dealing with your doctors. It could be about your family members and friends, which ideally you'll share the link so that they can come and join themselves. It could be about our formulas. It could be about the formulas you're taking and how to take them. It could be about New Species as a company, our website, a problem you're having with logging in, or anything at all. You can ask. Anything is welcome here.
And especially if you're having issues with your doctors and you want to discuss it with us, we have a ton of doctors as clients. We also have significant relationships with doctors and medical practices. So if you have questions about how your health is going medically, you can always pose it to us, and if we can answer, we answer. If we can't, we can get back to you. And I know a lot of you out there are going through some serious challenges with your health. I talk with you every day, and if you think we're not doing enough to help you, we should say it as well. And especially in these times, these are really rough, hard times, and they're going to get worse, especially with our With our medical system here in the United States, it's going to be impacted very significantly over the next 6 months to a year and thereafter. So, those of you who have health challenges, you can expect to have these serious challenges with your insurance and with the medical system in the United States because of all the things that you all, I hope, aware of what's happening here in the United States and around the world. It's all going to impact everybody. Just so we're here as a family. We're a new species family. Don't go off and commit suicide. We're here, and we're going to try to be here every week, like we have, as much as we can. And you pose your questions, and we'll give you, our honest feedback. But we will not talk religion, and we will not talk politics.
All right.
We don't have any expertise in those things.
We do talk spirituality, though.
Yes, spirituality, but not religion, But yes, because what we do impacts mental health, spiritual health, physical health. So, yes, I think a huge part of the new species practice and how we help people is not just to rebuild their bodies, but to we have a lot of clients who have depression, anxiety, emotional issues, brain issues, nerve issues, and we have been successful in helping them to rebuild the physicality of their issues. And by doing that, it translates into people having better mental health and better spiritual health. So yes, I would say spirituality is probably, from my perspective now, is the most significant part of human life and human existence. That's what I believe.
All right. Well, I would like to get into some announcements and then my testimonials that I have to share.
Mhm.
I want to make sure everybody joins. It takes a little while to get everybody on, but I will. I will get started with. Ooh, June, nice one. Thank you, June. And all of you are a bright spot in our week. We love doing this.
You
We
want
love talking.
to save your testimonials for a little later so
Yeah.
more people join?
Yes, I'll wait until
Yeah.
we get further into the
Okay.
show. But I'll start with some announcements. So if you did plan on coming to Elmont today, I'm covering for Ashley, but I am leaving at 6. So please come before 6 p.m. And that's where you see that I am right now. It's here in the Elmont store. And I don't know how great the internet is going to hold up to the live stream. So if I start to freeze or cut out or something, forgive me. Also, there's a massive intersection right outside this window. So if you hear horns honking and all kinds of sounds, that is why. Just forgive the sound effects of New York City.
Yeah, just think of all those sounds as in when Gillian is speaking as an orchestra of New York City. Or
Approvals, great
New
approvals.
York, New York City streets. Orchestra of New York City streets. Yeah.
Every horn that honks is approval of whatever we're saying. All right. Another quick announcement is just to remind all of you that we are trying to sell out of our current batch of our bee pollen 9 because I want to change the bottle and change the bottle and the lid. So as soon as we can sell out of what we have in stock, I want to switch over to the new bottle and lid. Nothing's changing with the formula, so you're still going to get the same great product. I just want to change the packaging, but I'm not going to waste what we've already made. So we've put it on 30% off for until we sell out of all that what we've made. So I'm just letting you know we've been doing pretty well. It's going at a good pace. So those of you who do use bee pollen, especially for your digestive issues, and you have to take a teaspoon several times a day, you are going to want to take advantage of that 30% off to, save as much money as you can. And that discount is happening consistently until we sell out of our current stock. All right, I'm going to highlight this. Gotta take the love. Thank you, June. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Good morning, Marjorie. Hi, Hadley. All right, folks. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. I don't know if we have any pre-submitted questions for today. So we're just flying solo here until you ask us some questions. I can show you some updates that are happening on the website until I see some questions coming in. Okay, thank you. Great, Mary. She put the link to the bee pollen in the chat. You have to drop it down to get the bee pollen 9. And it's not, unfortunately, our website, so annoying. It's not going to show you the discount right away. It's not going to show you the discount until you get to your cart. So maybe I should just show you that right now while I show you some of the updates to our site as well. So I'll do this until I see some questions coming in, just so you know. All right, share screen, NuSpecies website, share. Okay. Are you all seeing my screen? Aston, give me a verbal yes.
Yes, I'm seeing
Okay, great.
Geo. Yeah,
Yes.
there you
Okay.
go.
So if you go to the sales section, you will find the bee pollen is in here. But because this product has variations, which means you can get the bee pollen 1 or
Can you
9,
make it a little larger, the font, or is what it is?
maybe if I go like this,
You can
does
just
that get bigger?
zoom into the bee pollen.
Well, I'll click on it. I just don't want to mess up the way the site presents. So if I click on the bee pollen, you'll see here you have to drop down the potency to be 9. You're still not going to see the discount. You have to actually add it to your cart. And then once you see it in your cart over here, you'll notice that it's been discounted by 30%. So I would recommend moving up this quantity to as many as you know you're going to need, and then you can add it to your cart. I will show you an update on the site is if you go to your account, we've updated the account area a little bit so you can see this is just a sample account that I created, but you'll see you can see all your orders, you can manage the addresses. So if I go here, the addresses you typically ship to, you can update your password. You can go to see products you've recently viewed and add them to your cart if you want. You can also create wish lists. So you can add a new list. You can say, oh, I want to make a wish list for my mom or for my sister or for my digestive health or my,
Or for
you know,
Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or something, right?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So you can add as many lists as you want and then you can share them. And your wish list will always show up here. Let me just remove that. So that is, we've added that. You can also see your orders. So you see all my test orders here. The
Can
cool
you
thing
see the
is,
can you see past orders?
yeah, that's what it is. All your past
Okay.
orders. Mm-hmm.
So this is all for you, folks, to be able to now go online at newspecies.com and manage your whatever you do with New Species, and you can always know what you purchased before, so that if you call in or you go to a store, the employee there doesn't make a mistake. You know what you got before. You want to get the same thing because sometimes these mistakes happen. So I guess what Jillian and Mary have been doing, I wish I could take credit. I'm just an onlooker. They're giving you more power to interact with New Species and do it easier and doing it error free on your part. So you have more control essentially. That's what this is.
Yes. Two cool things about this is that if you want to just reorder something you got in the past, you can just click reorder. Also, if you place an order and then we haven't shipped it out yet, but you change your mind, maybe you wanted to add something else to it, or you already had that product, you wanted to remove it, you'll have a button here that actually says cancel. So as long as we haven't shipped it yet, you can cancel it on your own right in your dashboard. If you are not seeing orders here that you know you've placed, it could be because you've used two separate emails with us over time and your orders are split over two accounts. So let us know. We can just merge those accounts for you. We're really working very hard in the background on cleaning up our database so that all of your information is up to date and consolidated. The other really cool thing while we're doing this is we actually switched over the system we use in our stores to be the same system that runs our website. So eventually, as you purchase in store and online, all of your order history should also show up here, even if you made the purchase in a store.
Awesome.
Yeah. The other cool thing, which I can't get to work the way that I want it to yet,
Well, don't show it.
is well, I'll let them know. So, like, if you want to add an item to your wish list, unfortunately, it's populating. The button is, oh, it's over here. Let me close this. It's here, add to wish list. So, if you want to add this product to your wish list, you can just click here to add it to your wish list. So, while you're shopping, you can add items to your wish list. So, those are the big changes. Now, the last big change is if I click checkout, I can choose to pick up in store. And it's going to give me the location that is closest to me. I guess it knows where I am right now, which is creepy, but that's all technology. And you can change it to our other locations as well. If the item's not available in that location or any item in your order is not available at that location, it should stop you from selecting the option. Either way, we always tell you to please, I think, well, if I go to pay now, it will tell you to please wait for us to call you to confirm your order's ready. But you can buy online and pick up in store now. So you can save yourself a phone call and let our team get on to other things.
Awesome.
Yeah. So those are
Mhm.
the big changes there on the site. Hope you
All
like
right.
it. Okay. Morning, Wayne. Hi. Are you free enough? Great day, New Specians. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, folks, Aston and I can get on our pedestal and start preaching. But we want to make sure we're talking about things you care about. So, if you have questions or concerns, anything making you nervous right now about your health, anything concerning you about friends and family, you can put it in the chat. I'll double check Instagram. Nothing there yet. Oh, right. It's okay if it's a quiet morning. I know a
All
lot
right.
of
All right.
folks kind of.
Give your
Hi,
testimonial.
Mark. Good morning, Mark. All
Yeah.
right, great. Yes, I
Yeah.
will let you know what
I want to
happens
hear.
when
I want
you
to
taste
hear it.
it.
I have no idea what you're going to say, so I want to hear what the testimonial is.
You'll know as soon as I say. All right. So,
Okay.
number one, folks, is that on Monday, I had a last minute opportunity to get my wisdom teeth taken out. I thought I was going to do it in May, but they had a cancellation. And at the age of 40, you really should not have wisdom teeth anymore. I still had three. And, between raising kids and running a business, I just never prioritized getting them taken out. So they were really starting to bother me. And I was excited to get them taken out. And to everyone's shock who has seen me since Monday, I never had any swelling. And June, you just told me that I'm looking great, and I appreciate that. And makeup and nice lighting helps, but I shouldn't be looking so good right now. And I was a little worried. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna have to cancel the show on Saturday, if I'm gonna look like a chipmunk. But I never swelled up. I think I had like the tiniest little bit of swelling here at one point for like a couple hours one day, and that was it. And I've been consistently taking the MSM, the vitamin D, and the detox every single day. And then I also pretty consistently use the anti-inflammatory New Genesis and L-Nu 25. And usually that's just for other aches and pains and my immune system and all those other general health goals. But I really think it paid off with I never got any swelling from my
So,
removing three wisdom teeth.
so miracles do happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone who sees me is like, "What? You just got your wisdom teeth out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. Look at this. It's amazing."
And were you up and around the next day? Were you working the next day?
Yeah, I think I took I took the like higher potency pain meds the first day, but I didn't take any overnight that night, and I was okay. And then I was up and working the next day, and I felt good. I mean, I have pain; it's manageable, and to work and not be distracted, I do take like a lower dose pain medicine, but otherwise, I've been able to function completely all week, and I never had any swelling. I actually show up at the office and in public and just doing my thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think you should send a little note to the person who invented those formulas that may be helping you.
If I do,
I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
he's going to send me another bill because that was an unexpected benefit.
Benefits. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, congratulations. That's wonderful.
thank you.
Wonderful.
I was really excited about that. Okay, testimonial number two is
Mhm.
that I have been chronically low with vitamin D my whole life, and I'm sure most people are. But typically, when I would get it checked, it would be like 9 or 10. I mean, really low, just not okay. But I've never been very strategic with how I take NuSpecies. It's just you always have so many bottles on the counter, and I'm just sort of taking whatever is available and just getting it down every day. And usually, with pregnancy and all this other stuff, I'm thinking about all these bigger goals, and I just always forget about vitamin D. So, in the last 3 to 4 months, I just said, no, I'm not going to let this happen. I had my physical last year. My vitamin D was really low again. I'm just going to focus on this. So I was just taking the 4 capsules every day for the last few months. And I went back and got my vitamin D drawn, and I got the results on Tuesday. And I've gone up to 27. So I'm still
Wow.
like slightly below the range that they.
3 or 4. That's not bad.
Yeah, and
You're
ideally,
still in the probably you're now in the very very low percentile of people with vitamin D that high because most people on the earth their vitamin D just in teens and in mid 20s to below mid 20s.
okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, it's
you're
never
still
been
one of
that
a
high in
few.
my life. Yeah, I was really excited, and I know if I just keep, and that's just with the 4 capsules. Sometimes you recommend 8 capsules a day.
Right.
So I've just been taking the 4 capsules because I also take the 3 MSM and then the 3 detox capsules. And as you know,
Mhm.
once there's too many capsules, you don't take them.
Yeah.
So I was very excited about that, and now I'm just going to continue taking them. And I expect at my next physical it should be even higher. And that's also going through the winter where I'm not getting any sun exposure at all, and I wear sunscreen every single day. So I was very impressed with that, and I was very excited. So those are my
Yeah.
2 testimonials for this week.
Well, that's wonderful. So,
Mhm.
and the first testimonial, if New Species is helping,
It
um,
has to be. I can't
I,
imagine.
I would say to you all that it's the two of the major functions that New Species perform, not just rebuilding the immune system, but new species also help to restore tissue that are damaged, and it can regenerate tissue as well, as long as the genes are there. That's why we have the New Genesis and the LNU25, and, those two in particular. So, and that and the LNU25 also helps with pain, as you probably all some of you know who have had pain over the years, and we have helped you. So the new species does perform on the body or help the body to perform. New species doesn't do it. New species assist the body to perform restorative rebuilding and regenerative rebuilding of cells and tissues. And that if new species is helping Jill or has helped her this week, I would say that's primarily how she's getting the help. And then just to put a little thing there and what you said, Joe.
What?
People need to know that you have been taking new species, so you didn't start taking it the day of surgery, removing the three wisdom
Right.
teeth.
Yes.
You've been taking it
Yes.
before, so the body was in a position to heal itself, to fix itself.
Hmm.
And that's what we say to people who are going to go into surgeries, weeks or months before. Rebuild your body, rebuild your immune system. If you're going to take heavy medication like chemo or radiation, rebuild your body before you go into it. So your body is in a strong position to support itself
Mm.
through the destruction of what's going to happen with the medication or the surgery.
Yeah, it's really true. And I wasn't, like I said, I kept putting off the whole wisdom teeth things. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just was happened to be taking all that anti-inflammatory stuff,
Hmm.
just because of body aches and pains and just being worried about my immune system. So it ended up really paying off. I was so shocked. Everybody I talked to was shocked. It's just not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to remove 3 wisdom teeth and have no swelling. That just doesn't happen.
Right,
That was
right.
pretty remarkable. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right. Cool.
congratulations. And we're happy to see you up and around and functioning and cheerful and
Yeah.
snappy. So we're happy for that.
Thank
All right.
you. All
What else?
right. So
What else do you
June
have on the
is
agenda, Joe?
June's got
I
some.
think our family are not very talkative today.
I know it's kind of a rainy, cold, gloomy April morning. We understand, but we got some
Yeah.
questions. All right, ready? So we got June. My
Yeah.
concern is my hubby's cholesterol. It's 194, triglycerides 439. He is taking
Oh.
4 prescription fish oils a day.
Hmm.
She said to cut back on carbs and keep taking the prescription, which isn't working.
Hmm.
Okay. I didn't know fish oil could be like prescription level.
Yeah, but it's synthetic.
Well, right, right. And again, that's very key is fish oil. Like we're very clear to say that ours is a wild caught Norwegian cod liver oil that is raw. In a lot of fish oils, that's exactly what it is. You'll see fish oil, which means just some random oils from fish, and then maybe cod liver oil somewhere at the bottom of the ingredient list, which is really not good for your health. So I'd be very careful about what's actually in that. But June, if you could just confirm that you mean the fish oils are prescription level, and I think it has fish oil in it. And is he taking any other prescriptions? But it's cutting back on carbs, I feel like that's an interesting recommendation for high cholesterol. Well, I guess the triglycerides, is that what she's talking about, Aston?
What is June's question? Oh, okay. He needs help with the high triglycerides
Right.
and need help with the
Okay. And
cholesterol, right?
he's taking medication for diabetes as well.
So let's take each piece. Let's take the piece that's high, 439. So um, his triglycerides are almost triple what it should be. That's extremely high. That's a lot of fat. Triglycerides are fat, people, just so you all know. And it can block up the blood vessels, and it can not can it's blocking up the blood vessels if it's that high. When it gets high, it does do that. And it also deoxygenate the body because there's so much. Our blood can only carry so much. That's one of the things that we all should be thinking about. Our bloodstream can only carry so much. So if we have a lot of fat or cholesterol and inflammation and infection in our blood, it's less oxygen our bodies are getting. So our organs are not as efficient as it should be. And that's why sometimes we get tired if we have all this stuff in the bloodstream. Well, let's take triglycerides. So um, if he's taking a vitamin D, especially if it's synthetic, those that you buy in supermarkets and elsewhere, vitamin D can blow your triglycerides through the roof. Vitamin D
Fish
can
oil?
blow it can blow your cholesterol through the roof because it's fat. It's the ultimate fat that you're putting in the body, and the body is not able to break it down. That's why we have a gallbladder. God gave us a gallbladder to help to break down proteins because proteins, the molecules are massive, huge, and hard to break down. So a lot of you who eat meat products may not be digesting, even if it's fish, because fish has a lot of oil as well. Even there's the omega 3 and 6 and other omegas that are healthy, and even healthy um, uh, proteins and fats. If our bodies are just not strong enough, we'll not be able to break down, and it's going to get converted into triglycerides or cholesterol, and then it's going to get converted into sugar. And that's why people who have high cholesterol or people who are obese or have high triglycerides, they can develop diabetes very easily. But so the triglycerides, the first thing, June, is to ask the doctor if it's possible that and they're going to say, they're going to be ambiguous, but it is. If you're taking any kind of fat, especially vitamin D, can blow triglycerides and cholesterol,
So, Aston,
to the
just
roof.
quickly,
Yeah.
when we say vitamin D, we mean our cod liver oil. But when you say vitamin D, you don't. Are you meaning to say vitamin D? Or are you saying
Oh,
the
yeah. Vitamin
prescription
D.
fish oils?
All vitamin D, whether synthetic or natural, can push triglycerides and cholesterol very high if the liver is not able to break it down properly.
Okay, because this is she's saying prescription fish oils. I don't know if he's taking vitamin
Well,
D.
prescription fish oil is going to be worse because it has more synthetic components than completely natural. So that's the first thing. June, determine his vitamin D level. If it's over 30 or over 35, maybe you should cut back on the fish oil for a while, and that will allow the triglycerides to go down. And then if you can get some walks in, that would help a lot. A little exercise here or there, that would help a lot. And beyond that, the cholesterol is if the total cholesterol is 194, that's not bad. But if the HDL is high or the LDL is high or any of those are high, then that could be a problem. But the bigger danger here is the triglycerides. And if he's taking medication, statin for cholesterol, it shouldn't be that high. It should be in the 140s or 50s. That's where it should be. So the medication may not be working as well for him as well. So what you can do for him is put him on LNU 1 or 9 along with the new Genesis, and he should take an ounce of the LNU. And if it's in the budget, June, you can put him on the LNU 25 and then take an ounce, even if it's for 1 month. That will get him out of trouble. And the trouble is not the triglycerides that's high. The trouble is not the cholesterol that's high. The trouble is the likely heart disease and other health issues that will develop from numbers like these. So if you're taking medication and have numbers like these, it means that the body is likely not responding well to the medication. And the liver just keep pumping out what you're seeing here, the cholesterol and the triglycerides. It's the liver that's pumping it out. So there could be an underlying liver issue as well. So what you can do is send us his labs, the last labs, and if you did a urinalysis, send it in to us, and we could take a look at it to see if there are other issues here that should be considered in what I just said. But in summary, um, get some walks in, cut back on meat products, or cut out meat products for maybe 3 months or so. Even fish, just cut it out because it's likely not digesting these heavy, massive proteins. Get some walks in, and of course, do L-new and a new Genesis together. And the L-new should be taken 1 ounce at least once daily. If you take it twice daily, the L-new that's even better. So he can take these June until, and then redo his labs in 60 days to see how the triglycerides come down and the cholesterol, and if the triglycerides are below 150, then he's probably he doesn't have to continue with the product. So maybe just do it for 60 days, 60 to 90 days, what I just mentioned, and that should help the triglycerides to come down significantly.
Okay.
But then we have to look to the future as to how he should eat and what he shouldn't eat. We should look to that. But we could talk about that on the other side of these numbers getting in the normal zone.
Yeah. I think when they say cut back on carbs, that's such a frustrating statement because so many foods that are really healthy fall under the category of carbohydrates. So just like vegetables.
Well, everything is carbohydrates. Everything has carbon.
Well,
Carbohydrates is carbon, hydrogen, and everything has carbon and hydrogen. So all
right.
foods are carbohydrates.
Understood, but that's not what they mean when they say carbs. They're
I know.
separating that from like meat and dairy
Yeah.
and veggies, even though veggies are really healthy carbs, and tubers and stuff are healthy carbohydrates. So to stay away from carbs is really, I mean, what she probably should means to be saying is stay away from processed sugar, added sugar, processed flour, and processed foods in general, and start adding in a lot of vegetables. But June was saying she'll send you the labs, and that currently the liver and kidneys are good. But so as far as they know, but Aston, in your experience, you'll have people thinking liver and kidneys are good, and then you'll look at their labs and realize that they're headed toward not being good, and the doctor doesn't say anything. So you'll definitely
Right.
want to look at this.
So the doctors, unfortunately, sometimes it's not their fault. If they don't have a medication, there are really no medication for most kidney issues. So if someone is getting into kidney failure and the doctor look at your lab reports and they see that the creatinine and they see that the EGFR and the bun, yes, they're abnormal, but if they're not crazy abnormal, the doctor is going to say to you, "Oh yeah, you look good. You look good. Your kidneys look good because you're not in stage 4 or stage 5 kidney failure." But even though it's in the initial stage kidney failure, but there's nothing the doctors can do other than say to drink more water. And you go home and you drink more water, and that's not medicine for kidneys that are in failure. So so there's just no medication. Our medical system is great. It's really great, but it's still far from what we all would want it to be.
Yeah, and I think it always depends on how you are looking at it. If you're expecting the medical system to make you healthier, you're expecting too much. The medical system will manage your disease and will hopefully, to some extent, maybe help you prevent disease with early intervention if you get labs and regular physicals and stuff. But it's not really designed to make you healthier or to fix your health problems. So, when you think about its ability to manage disease, it's pretty phenomenal. But if you want to get healthier, that's where you have to advocate for yourself, and you've got to take all these extra actions with your lifestyle, which is why we assume you are here. All right. Question from Patricia. Do you have a protocol for smoldering myeloma?
We do. We do. but since you mentioned the myeloma word, we need to talk to you, and we need to see your labs as well. Um, and um, and if you have any family history, that would be good to know. And when were you first diagnosed? We want to know that as well, because depending if you were diagnosed years ago, then there's significant damage to your body, potentially your bone marrow. So we would want to know that as well. So I think you should, if you want to get some help from us, you should speak with us, and let's go through all of that to make sure that we put you on the right plan. So yes, we have various protocols for issues like these.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're right. Okay. Some of the health questions they're really big, and so it does require more customization and usually a little bit more question and answer, which can be hard to do on the Q&A because you're probably typing on your phone and maybe can't get your chats in quickly enough. So I
Right.
just put up the phone number and the email. Just call to try to speak to Aston. You may not even have to make an appointment if he's available. He'll just hop on the phone with you. Maybe you'll have to wait
Hmm.
a few minutes. So we'll try to just get you on the phone right away. We've been moving away from just putting everybody into appointments. We're trying to just see if Aston's available. He can just get on the phone. So to help things move along a bit quicker. So there's the phone number and email for you. Okay. I'll leave that there.
Or we can reach out to her as well. Since you reach out to us now, Patricia, I think we should find a way to reach out to you. I'm sure Mary can work some magic behind the scene.
Well, the only thing is she can't tell us anything without it being public. So if she wants to give us her contact information, she's going to need to email or call.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. If you're not able to make the call, just send a text to that phone number or email, and then we'll reach out to you when you're available. Okay. All right. We don't have any other questions right now.
Okay.
Y'all I see plenty of you are here, but you're all very quiet. Asan, just so you know, Abdul says, "Good morning. Thanks for the info. I'm doing fine."
Oh, great, great.
Yes.
Abdullah and I had a good chat earlier in the week. So, so we could talk a little bit more about cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, what I would like all of you to be doing when those of you who go to the doctor and you do your tests, even if it's a urine test, you have your charts now, whether it's my chart or whatever they call it. There are some pointers that I would like all of you to be aware of on your lab reports. Number one, always be aware of your WBC. The WBC is the white blood cells, and it represents the combination of all the white blood cells. So the WBC, and if it's low, you are in trouble. It means the immune system is very weak, and you can get infections and you can get cancers. So a lot of people who come to me with cancers, their WBC was low, and in some case low for a long, long time. So you should just write that down, put it on your bed head, carve it into your bed head, carve it into the wall above your bed head. Don't wait for your doctors to tell you that something is wrong. When you get your lab report, you need to pick up that piece of paper and read it yourself, or you need to go online and log in and read it yourself. So the number one thing is the WBC. If it's low, you're in trouble, and you can get cancer and any disease because your immune system is weak and overall weak. That's what the WBC represents. Is the overall immune system is weak, and it's not ideal to fight off viruses, bacteria, cancer cells, and other diseases, inflammation that could attack the body. The second thing you look for, beside your kidneys, your creatinine, which I mentioned before, the two major markers are the creatinine and the EGFR. You write it down, EGFR and creatinine. Write that down, CREATININE. Write it down. You check for those and make sure they're in normal range. And usually the lab report will tell you that they are. If the creatinine is potentially, I think 1.2, 1.25. When it's below that, is in the normal range. But you really want it to be below one. You want it to be 0 point any number, 8, even 9 is fine. It means if it's 0.8 or 9 and it's below 1, it means your kidneys don't have a lot of inflammation. And the EGFR, you typically want it, above 60. And if you have it up to 70, 80, 90 is even better. It means that the filtration system in the kidneys are working. But the WBC, and then the next one you need to check is your hemoglobin. The hemoglobin is the red blood cells that carry oxygen, especially you women who still have cycles or you're in menopause. You got to check your hemoglobin. It's critical that you do because it's one area you can know if you're losing blood from your colon or your bladder, your urine, whatever. You need to know that it's where it should be, and typically it should be about 14. But if you see that those two, the WBC, which they're in the same frame, and your lab report actually, they're it's probably the first and second thing you see in most lab reports, and maybe they put those two together in our lab reports for that reason. So you check your WBC, you check your hemoglobin, not the hemoglobin A1C, the hemoglobin, which is the red blood cells, and it's the one that carries oxygen. So those are two of the most critical things that you all should be aware of. And then you can go down to your vitamin D, like Jillian just mentioned. So I would say those are the three most critical things in any blood test report. And then for women, if your hemoglobin is low, the red blood cell, if it's low, especially if the hematocrit and the which is the other one, the hematocrit, the hemoglobin, right, those two, and the RBC, the red blood cell, if those are low, it means that your body has broken down already. Your body is shattered already. Ladies, whether it's just a menstrual causing it, if you have fibroids, it could be worse. But if your WBC, your hemoglobin, your hematocrit, your RBC, if those are low, your body is shattered, women, ladies, and you can get any cancer, especially if you have ovarian cysts, you have endometrial issues where they just float in your endometrium or the uterus or fibroids. You have dense breasts, you have thyroid nodules. You can get any cancer in any of those organs, lady, because your body is broken already. So the WBC means your immune system is weak, so it can't fight off whatever is going on. You have the issues already, your WBC is low, your body can't fix them. Your body can't fight them. Your body can't fix them. So you're only going to get worse. Doesn't matter what your doctors tell you. You're only going to get worse. Your hemoglobin is low. You don't have enough oxygen. You don't have enough iron. You don't have enough oxygen. And oxygen is the number one food for life. It's not vitamin D. It's not carbs. It's not any of those things. The number one food for human life and life forms is oxygen. If oxygen goes from the air right now, within 10 minutes, all human beings on Earth are dead. Over 8 billion will just drop dead. That's how important oxygen is. So the hemoglobin carry oxygen. And then you need the vitamin D. Every cell in the body has vitamin D receptors, meaning that the cells need vitamin D, and if the vitamin D is low, all those cells are gone mad. Literally, people, they're mad. The cells can't function well. And that's why a lot of women lapse into all of these issues with their ovaries, their uterus, their breast glands, breast cancer, and breast issues, and thyroid issues, and pituitary gland issues, the whole, prolactin issue, prolactin hormone issue. That's why a lot of you ladies get it, because your vitamin D is low. Vitamin D is not a vitamin, it's a hormone. And then for men, if your PSA is over 1 or over 2, you have a problem, and you should call NuSpecies. I would say for men, it's just that one issue with their prostate, and then guys, if your hemoglobin is low, you're in trouble. You're in bigger trouble than women if your hemoglobin is low. And WBC, I mentioned before, if it's low, everybody's in trouble. The vitamin D. So those, I would say, are the three most critical things you all should be monitoring in your lab report. When you get your lab report, doesn't matter what your doctors say, look for your WBC, look for the hemoglobin, look for your vitamin D. And if those are abnormal, you should look in the mirror and tell yourself you're in trouble. Your health is in trouble. Any organ is in trouble. It's not just the heart or the brain or the liver or the kidney. All our organs are in trouble when any one of those are low, or especially if all three are low. Big trouble. Okay, ladies, especially you ladies, because you tend to get. I had a lady who came in this week to me, and she's in her 30s, and she has she has ovarian issues. She's not young, in her mid 30s. Ovarian issues, uterine issues, which includes the endometrial issues. She has breast issues. She has a tumor in her brain, and she has pelvis issue and cervix issues. She has issues in all those organs, and in her 30s. And as women get older, they tend to have more and more of these issues. So that's why we're here at NuSpecies, to help you identify these issues and to help you get your bodies to fix them. So, ladies, it's going to sound really cold and brutal, but I'm going to say it because of all the people we work with, we talk with daily, we see how they suffer, and we see if we don't tell them the truth, what happens. So these are the cancers that kill most women, and these are the cancers that are going to kill most women in this year and next year and many years to come. So ovarian cancer, or uterine cancer, or breast cancer, or thyroid cancer, those are going to be pelvic cancer, cervical cancer. Those are the cancers that's going to kill most women. And it's not just women in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. It's women in their 20s and 30s and 40s as well, because cancer is on the rise among young people, especially young women in those categories. So,
Mhm. So, question for you, Aston, is Marjorie
yeah.
was asked her, I don't know, she read your mind, but as soon as you started talking about labs, she had asked, what are some important blood tests I should ask the doctor to get for an annual checkup? Now, I think everything you mentioned is stuff that would typically be on any normal blood panel, right? She doesn't have to ask for any of those.
No, if you go to a pulmonologist or some doctor or cardiologist, they're just going to focus on your CVCs.
Like her
So,
annual checkup, like when she does her
right.
physical.
Say if you go to your primary care, or you're going to do your annual, or you're going to do a physical, then they would do those. Yes, but you should always ask your doctor just to be sure, because I've seen where doctors know that people have kidney issues and diabetes and all these other issues, and all they check were the CVCs, as if they're saying to themselves, "Oh, I only care about your CVCs, but what about all the other issues that are affecting your CVCs?" It makes no sense to me. But yes, those are what you all should be ensuring. You should ask your doctor to check the panel for all of those.
So one of the things that they typically won't just do on your annual physical is like hormonal panels. Those would be something you'd have to request, and you can't just like ask for them and say, do any test I say. They have to justify to your insurance, because you can go pay out of pocket for any test that you want. But if you want your insurance to cover it, then your doctor needs to have a justification. So if you think you're having any sort of hormonal symptoms, or you're not feeling like yourself, I would take time before you go to your physical, even 2 weeks, to just start documenting all the things that aren't feeling normal, aren't feeling as good as they used to, and bring that list to your physical and be ready, because they're going to fly through your physical in like 25 minutes. So you need to have that stuff already written down. And then you can say, this is a justification for why I think I need to check on my hormones. And then Aston, are there specific hormonal panels for women that should get checked?
Yeah, well, the general would be the thyroid. Everybody should be doing it, especially women. There are more women who have thyroid issues than men worldwide. So the thyroid panel is, I would say, is right up there, and every physical should have the thyroid panel. Otherwise, that doctor is not doing their job as well as they could. And then the two hormones, ladies, speaking to you directly, that destroy your body are the two hormones are estrogen and testosterone. Those are the two hormones that destroy a woman's body, whether they're too high or they're too low, whether you're premenopause, postmenopause. If you find that a lot of you ladies who come to me, you're in menopause in your late 60s and even in your 70s, you're having menopausal symptoms is because of those two hormones. So you should write it down and ensure that every visit you do to your doctor, you make to your doctor, you should ask them to check the panel for your progesterone. Supposedly, when you get to menopause, the body doesn't produce these hormones much, but it's not the case for a lot of women.
Well, also, the journey to menopause is very long and weird for a lot of women. So, as soon as you're over 35, you could be experiencing perimenopause, and you would think your doctor would tell you this, like, "Hey, you're getting close to 40. We should start looking into your hormonal situation." But most doctors don't. There's really, I don't know, like it's like very small. I was listening to a doctor in an interview, and she had mentioned it's something like 15 hours is spent in all of medical school on women's health outside of fertility. So many doctors really just don't know. So I agree with you, Marjorie, that when you go to your doctor, you need to be prepared to tell them what's going on with you, what you're concerned about, and what labs you think you need. And if any woman is over 35 and you don't already know if you're in menopause, or menopause lasts up to 10 years. So at any time during menopause, you may need to be checking in on your hormones. So you really want to advocate for that with your doctor. And if they really have no idea what you're talking about, you got to find another doctor, or a doctor who self proclaims to specialize in perimenopause and menopause. Because the side effects of menopause can be devastating, can be deadly. And it's really important that you are on top of that.
If you're having any side effects from menopause, ladies, it's deadly. Yeah, if you're having those, the heat or and the mood swings and all of that, it means that your heart, congestive heart disease is one of the primary symptom of menopause, and osteoarthritis is another. But then there's high blood pressure. There's a lot. There's just so many. So we want you to be aware of we're having this education session with you so that you are able to manage your doctor's people. Otherwise, your doctor, you just go in and you'll see your doctor for 5 minutes and everything looks good. And then you have no questions. Everything looked good. And then your labs are filled with abnormalities. Your urinalysis is filled with abnormalities. So you need to be aware of your lab reports and what's in them. And believe me, folks, this can save your lives. This can extend your life. This can give you really good longevity and give you a healthier life. You need to be aware. So when you sit down with your doctors, you can ask them, what's causing this? How do I fix this? You have to be involved in your health. There's a massive doctor shortage right now. So when you go see a doctor, you're on an assembly line. There 50 people ahead of you and there are 100 behind you. And the faster they can get you out of that exam room is the better for them, because there's just a massive shortage of doctors. So you need to be proactive. You need to know what's in your labs. And that's why for years now, we at NuSpecies have instituted the practice where we ask you to bring your labs in so that we can help you understand what's in your lab, so you can have better dialogue, productive dialogue with your doctors. So yes, ladies, I mentioned those organs. If you want to live long, you should protect those organs, because one of those organs is what's killing most women in the earth. And especially if you're of African ancestry, you are between 2, 3 to 5 times worse off with those organs than white women, because medication doesn't work as well for black folks and black women. And that's part of the reasons now there are more women per capita, black women with breast cancer, cervical cancer. Research it. Don't take my word for it. Ovarian cancer, just research it. And they're dying more. So if you're getting more cancers, you're going to die more, because most cancers don't get resolved for a lot of women. And then for
And
men,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was just going to say that even for those of you who are here and you really take very good care of your health and you're using new species because you want to stay as healthy as possible, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be engaging with the medical industry because anything can happen to you. Things change. Every decade of our life brings all kinds of new challenges. And even the people who take care of themselves the best are eventually going to have some kind of struggle. You don't want to, for the first time, men be looking for a urologist, women be looking for a menopause specialist. You don't want to, for the first time, be trying to establish these relationships because you're not going to get in quickly. There might be time for you to, before you even find a doctor that really works, that really you like, right, and that is a good fit for you. And you don't want to be experimenting and researching when you're suffering and you're scared. So it is really important that you start establishing these relationships immediately and experimenting and getting to know your doctors and having them get to know you and establishing a baseline of what it is, what your healthy really looks like. I know for Aston and my one of my friends, they both generally have lower blood pressure as a normal. They just run lower than other people. And so high for them looks different. So they could go to the doctor and the doctor will say, oh, your blood pressure is normal, but they know it's actually high. So these are the kind of baselines you want to establish as you get to know your doctors so that if anything ever goes wrong, they're better prepared to help you because they're operating in a very intense situation where, like Aston said, there's short staff, especially primary care doctors. I mean, there's so few these days. Specialists are booked to the hilt and they are pushing you in and they are pushing you out. So you not only have to have them already know you really well, but you need to be prepared for these appointments by writing everything down and having your list. So sorry, Aston, I just wanted to jump in and say that. And Instagram is disconnecting now. So if you want to jump on over to YouTube or Facebook, please do.
Right. So for men, it's the one. It's just one hormone. For women, it's progesterone, it's estrogen, it's testosterone. Those are the three culprits for women. But for men, yeah.
Men can get too high levels of estrogen, though.
No, I'm speaking about
Oh,
the higher volume of people who come to us with these
okay.
issues. So the men is the conversion. Uh, Most of the testosterone is produced in the testes, and it gets converted by the prostate into dihydrotestosterone. For men, it's the conversion of that testosterone is the issue. So I would say for men, you check your PSA, your vitamin D. So men have it a little easier. I'm not sure how God. Um, I need to understand God's construct better.
Yeah, but we also
Why
see
women is ovary, uterus,
our
pelvis,
because we're goddesses. We're more
breast,
complicated.
thyroid,
Aston,
pituitary
goddesses are
gland.
more complicated, Aston. You're never going to understand. But
I'm,
actually, isn't it interesting though?
I still would like to understand God's spectrum when it comes to this.
But you typically find it easier to help women than men, though. So men might have a simpler situation, like on paper, but then the actual, like getting the body to fix it, can be harder. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, it's all right. I'm not going to go down that path because
Okay.
it's taking us off the rails.
Uh,
but
Marjorie just
but
wanted to clarify what CBC means and CMP means.
uh, what was that?
Marjorie just, I put the chat up, the comment up. She wants to confirm. So CBC is your your complete blood count, and the
Mhm.
CMP is your comprehensive metabolic panel, and those are both standard when you get a physical. So that you shouldn't have to ask for those.
Right. Well, you shouldn't, but you should.
You could just double check what labs they're standard going to order before you leave, and then tell them what other labs you're interested in if they don't list it.
Right. So the critical piece for the CMP, some labs call it chemistry panel, others call it something else. But the critical piece of it there is that it's the liver and the kidneys. That's where those markers are in the CMP or the chemistry panel. And then the CBC, the critical, as I just mentioned, that's where you find the white blood cells. If you have your labs out or you want to check it, now or later, the CBC. So you find your WBC, the hemoglobin, and then there are other markers in there. There are many other markers in there beside those, but they're all blood related. White blood cells are white blood cells, like the platelets or the mean platelet volumes or the regular platelets. You'll find those there as well. But yes, I would say those are probably the two most important panels in a lab report.
Okay. Well, it is 11
In
o'clock,
term,
so
in generally speaking, they are. They're not the most important, but generally speaking, they are.
right. And
Yeah.
ask them, like you said, if you're going to a cardiologist or you're going to your gynecologist or you're going to different specialists, there might be different labs that they prioritize at any given time.
Hmm.
If
Yeah.
you're on chemo, before you have a chemo thing, they're checking your labs for your liver numbers and making sure everything is looking healthy to your white blood cells, so to sustain another treatment. So it all depends on exactly what you're getting the labs drawn for. That can
Yeah.
change the priority, and certainly Aston is happy to continue to guide you with that.
Right. I hope you
But
all find this helpful. Hmm.
I think we should host a Zoom where we just schedule for a set number of people to join the Zooms, send you their labs in advance, and then we just sort of do some case studies and talk about them and teach folks. Um, I think it would be, even more useful.
Hmm.
All right. So for those of you who might be heading over to Elmont today, I'm covering for Ashley, so I'm leaving at 6. So please come before 6. I have a babysitter. Got to get home. And then also the for those of you who have get seasonal allergies, especially in the spring, this is a little bit of a late announcement, but you should already be taking the bee pollen. You should already be taking it because, as I told you earlier, I was already taking a bunch of our anti-inflammatory formulas prior to having my wisdom teeth removed, and then I had no swelling after they were removed. It's similar with your allergies. If you take the bee pollen in advance, you clients have reported that they experience far fewer allergy symptoms when they're already taking bee pollen before it happens. So our bee pollen 9 is 30% off until we sell all of it out because I'm changing the bottle and I just want to sell out what we already have made. So if you're someone who suffers with seasonal allergies, please buy as many of the bee pollen 9 as you can. It'll take you straight through. If you're someone who gets allergies in the spring and the fall, you'll make it all the way through at a much lower price. So that's already discounted on the website and in store. So you just need to add it to your cart and check it out. And then also, please, before you leave today, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet here on YouTube, and you could follow us on Facebook and do whatever you do on Instagram, I don't know, but on YouTube, most importantly, this is where we focus primarily. Please subscribe to the channel before you leave. And if you haven't already, we've been doing a lot of work on the back end to clean up our client lists. So we've moved softwares to consolidate a lot of information. So I want to make sure we have your most up-to-date phone number and email and address. So if you go onto our website and you try to log in, it's not working, you might need to reset your password. You might need to reach out to us and we can merge your accounts to whatever your most up-to-date email is. On our website, you can also sign up for our rewards program and sign up for our email and our text list. Both of those will send updated data about your email address and your phone number to our system and help us clean up our list. Good morning. Taking NuSpecies vitamins D, can it be too much? Because it's a whole food, I don't think so. But Aston, because it is oil, I think there are some folks you say it could be, but not because of the vitamin D, but because it's fish oil, cod liver oil, right?
Right. So you can take up to 12 of the new species vitamin D daily. I think we recommend 2 and 2, right? Am I correct?
Like 4 per day is the standard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can take up to 12. It's not going to affect your body in any negative way. What I had said earlier was that there are people whose body can break fats down, whether it's meat products or otherwise, even if it's completely healthy, like omega 3 and 6, because they may have a gallbladder issue, they may not have a gallbladder, they may have a liver issue, and their bodies just can't break it down. And for those people, it will cause their cholesterol and especially their triglycerides to go up. The triglycerides is the marker in the lipids panel of the blood test report that represent fats, the triglycerides. So it's just for in that very narrow exception for people who have those issues. But if you
Mm-hmm.
have any questions or concerns, you can always call us and
Mm-hmm.
and speak to us about it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, your vitamin D can go as high as 100 and be really healthy. That's very hard to do. So most people, if you get to 50, you are like super lucky. Um, But because it is a whole food source, your body's going to process it like food, assuming you can digest the food, and you should not have any issue with. You can't really overdose. All right. I put the
Hmm.
phone number and the email up in case you need to reach out to us. Like I said, Aston's been avoiding booking appointments. If he can just get on the phone with you immediately, he does. And the whole team knows it. Ashley, Kira, Mary, Crystal, everybody who answers the phone knows that if they can put Aston through to you or through to Aston immediately, they're going to do that. They're not going to push you into an appointment unless you can't wait the 5 minutes maybe for him to finish a call. So take advantage of calling, texting, emailing, and
Hmm.
has been getting back to folks really quickly lately, and it's been working well for everybody all
Hmm.
around. All right, please subscribe to our channel before you leave. Check out the updates we're doing on our website. We're trying to make the shopping experience easier for you, and it's only going to get better as I keep getting my hands in there and updating some of the features. So I hope you like it, and always want your feedback. I always get great feedback from Fitzgerald. I don't see him on here this morning, but whenever you tell me that something isn't functioning well for you or that it's affecting your shopping experience, I always go in and try to fix it. So your feedback will help us continue to serve you better. All right, folks. Well, we will see you next Saturday. We
Hmm.
should our next Saturday. Next Saturday, we're going to actually do some pre-recorded content for you. So we won't be live, but we will have some interesting information for you next Saturday. We're actually going to take off for the holiday weekend, if you don't mind. And otherwise, we will talk to you as soon as we're back live the weekend after that.
All
All
right,
right,
you
everyone.
all have a great weekend. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much.